Kim McCullough. Anonymous. And many, many more.
Oh, they could hear
Cultivate your village. Let your virtue multiply. Cultivate your nation. Let your virtue abound. Cultivate your world, then your virtue is everywhere. I got a whole lot of loving just for you. I got all this loving, but I just want you. I got a pain in my chest, and my rest don't heal me. I wanna be wicked, but I'm just so weary. Let me cry. Say no more, I've had enough of calling as battles raged in silent wars. You never meant to make me yours. My love grew on our rotten wood to give it fruits forgotten good. But who am I, a captive given? So take my heart, I shall not miss it. Even if you run, even when I go, even if you run, even if you run, why did you run? Run away. Why did you run? Run away from me. Why did you go? You could have stayed, you know. Why did you run? You should have stayed. I could forgive you, and I could forget you. I want to survive. I'm making some. Why did you run? Why did you run? Run away. Why did you run? Run away from me. Why did you go? You could have stayed, you know. Why did you run? You should have stayed.
When you try to love, it's like you die a little.
but not in a way that's selfish and vain, but that's sacrificial. That's reciprocal and mystical and visceral. You get what I'm getting at? I wanna love continuously and not so strenuously. How can I love one love when there's so many people loving back? So many ways I could react, so many days I think I should in fact become bohemian like Liszt, or James Brown, or Nikola Tesla, or anyone else that one should aim to be in this day and age.
Try to love, you cut yourself. You cut yourself in two. Oh, have you forgotten? Or have you forgotten how the fair winds blow? Or how we were taught to find solace in hope? Have you forgotten me, love? Have you mistaken my heart and it's breaking for the fair winds blowing in the pale blue must have forgotten our time out at sea. The waves must have shook you, and your memory.
All right, here we go.
Hello, welcome. I believe we're live. Welcome everyone to my one-half listening party. This is my 30th birthday and my 15th album release. If you guys can hear me, just confirm in the chat with some sort of message to indicate that yes, you can hear me.
Vivian 05.
And we got, I'm here at Here Presents with my buddy John on the decks. He's got a press transition. Yeah, there we go.
I got it.
Yeah, we're learning the ropes here, and yeah, I'm excited to listen to this album with everybody, and I hope that people, if you haven't checked it out, I don't know. I'm curious how many people haven't heard it or how many people have. It's only a few hours old, so I think we're gonna go one by one, and as soon as people say they can hear us, then
Loud and clear.
loud and
everyone.
clear.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, so between when people talk and when do it. So, but wow, this is crazy that on Facebook it has auto caption. Like,
Someone just subscribed.
oh shit,
Yeah,
it's the cultivation theme song.
that's it.
Subscribed on what? Twitch?
Yeah, someone just subscribed with tier 1 on, it says Streamlabs Lognarok. It's hard to say.
Oh,
Just
Logan.
subscribe with tier 1.
Logan, is this on Twitch right now? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Anyway, well, if people can hear us, then, and if we're ready to go, if people are locked and loaded, I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys ready to just dive into it? Are enough people here and ready? I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Let's start with the first song. The first song is called Two Halves Behold. Two Halves Behold. It's a little intro song to the album. Also is the song that features the executive producers and their shout outs.
And it is on Twitch.
It is? Oh, we are on Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Eli Derp said, I'm very much on Twitch.
Are you sure, man? I thought I didn't select it, but that's good. I'm glad. We're using Streamlabs OBS on multi-stream. So we should be on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube.
There's 8 tracks. Juan F. Com. All right.
Yeah, all right, let's listen to Two Halves Behold and we can chat about it.
Hello, my name is Cullah, and welcome to my album, One Half. You see, I'm one half music, and the other half of me is, well, I don't know. Strap in and get ready to collide with my mind, to reflect your soul and bind with it all and see what we can find and see where we can go and say I shall one day behold, two halves behold, the oldest story ever told now unfolds. I found it, the secret that makes opposite equal. While you're good and evil, fight like the snake and eagle. This secret I will tell is an old magic spell. Abracadabra, abraxas, two halves behold. Behold also the executive producers of One Half. And their names are Emily Bell, Tim McCullough, Rhino the Bearded, and the OO Show, Kayla McCullough, Tim Creed, Ginny McCullough, Emily Bell,
that's the first title track. Yeah, big special shout out to those executive producers. So people are saying it's the first time hearing. Great, I love this. That's like one of my favorite things, that we could like get up in the morning and just listen to it together and experience that drop, the album drop. You know. Cheers to. We got some Weezo, some Greek Weezo going on. I believe that's how it's pronounced, right? I hope I'm not butchering that. That's that like creamy liqueur from Greece. I think it's Weezo, right? But yeah, so that's the first track. Pretty straightforward. What's interesting about that song is the upright bass is actually a contact library. So it's not. It almost sounds real. I don't know if you could tell, John.
I couldn't tell.
It sounds like a real upright bass, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a contact library where essentially, like, there was a note for the slap, you know, of like hitting the fretboard of the actual upright, you know. So I played it on a keyboard, like ba-doom da ba-doom da doom da da, which was interesting. But maybe it's Greg, of course. Good Gregori's. All right, yeah. Thanks everybody for coming in and the happy birthday wishes. We got Rhino in the chat. I just saw that, one of the executive producer. What's going on? I'm just looking at the YouTube one here. But yeah, let's get into the meat of it, right? Like that's just the intro song. It's interesting. There's like a cartoon strings at the end, right? You know, those brum brum brum. So it's just kind of a thematic thing, a thematic jazzy beat, you know, hip hop beat. So let's get into the first So this is an intense song. So strap in. That's what I said in the last song. Like strap in and get ready, because this song goes from 0 to 100. It's all about the paradox of life and death, and the whole concept of it is, well, Phanes is a Greek god of the Orphic tradition, and he's an androgynous, like male and female messenger of light that was birthed in a cosmic egg by Ananke and Cronus. So it's like a Greek story, and Phanes is this, like, it's essentially represents cosmic duality, you know, and the paradox of all that shit. So that's what this song is kind of about. It's about birth and the stress and trauma of birth. But there's actually a sample of my little sister Nora when she was like 4 years old. I like had a microphone when I would make music on a headset when I was like really little. It was the only microphone I had, and so I would just make random noises and songs that will probably never be released, by the way. These things are so old and so embarrassing. I'm like 9 to 12 years old. Maybe one day, but I don't see them ever seeing the light of day. But I had a recording with my little baby sister, who was like just a toddler, could barely speak, and she goes, I'm like, Nora, say something for the microphone. I put her, and she goes, hello, and just like walks away. So if you can hear that in this song, there's parts where she goes, hello, so they're mixed into with some things. So let's see how it is. Let's go into it and listen to the birth of Phanes.
And so, you know, you're just a child in the dark. You see, you're all alone at night. You know the darkness very well. You see the conscious forming light within the dark. They must require a sacrificing of what you think you know. What are you waiting for? 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 The consciousness to evolve.
quietly. Whisper to no one. Keep this secret safe until no soul. Every child's born in the dark. There's consciousness to grow. Do not fear the dark in what you may see. For all those images and all those forms are as you are and will always be.
Facebook. Whoops.
Such is darkness, so is light. They're a function all the same. As above, it's so below. So is fear and is love.
Oh, yeah. So that's the birth of Phanes. It's like anxious, right? A little bit at the beginning. It's like it goes straight into a death march. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. I mean, the thing is, every child's born in the dark. It's consciousness to grow. So it comes from some of the Orphic mysteries, like things that I've been reading from Manly P. Hall and some other American kind of anthropologists of mysteries and mystery schools and ancient wisdom and stuff. Really interesting stories. Just like you read this, he's got this book called The Secret Teachings of All Ages, and I was just listening to a whole podcast about how he was at as the forefront of Hollywood, and about how the history of occult religion and spirituality and all these different, like, you know, New Age. We think about it as New Age, but this stuff's been going on for forever. And America is really one of the crazy places where some of these old ancient mystery schools are coming into it. He was a crazy mother because Manly P. Hall, he would only dictate things. He would never write anything down. He would literally just write. He would just speak, and then people would write it down, and that's how he made books. He made tons and tons of books, and apparently he only charged $1 for each lecture, which is strange, but interesting. So that some of the inspiration of those stories came from that. I wrote that song not intending to be like, oh, Manly P. Hall and this Orphic tradition. It was kind of just what was stirring up and emotionally, and then that song was about birth and about duality and life and death and like mystery and, you know, like potential, because Phanes is born in a cosmic egg with a serpent around it. So he just like is birthed, and then he just comes into light. And there's a theme of that on this album, of these deities. Like the last song is called Lucifer the Lightbearer, and that one is very similar, like kind of light god, but about duality and stuff. So I mean, that's what this album's all about. It's one half. I'm figuring out how to be one half music. But let's what was we got? Vince, what's up, Vince, in Facebook? I'm glad you like the album. Matthew Fela, what's up, dude? Michael Poley, Ben Cramp, David's here. What's up, David? David Zimmerman. Yeah, I was trying to get some shout outs to people. Thanks for tuning in and listening. And let's move to the next one. It's going fast. Let's see, the next one you guys might have heard because was the single I released, and this is on Spotify right now. Magical Animal is on Spotify right now, but the rest will come. It'll slowly trickle month by month, but let's listen to Magical Animal.
Like a serpent, I'm always through the finish. Nobody every magical animal.
That's the magical animal. That's some wild electronic. That's the one thing right out the bat. This album, like 140 beats per minute. Just boom, boom, boom. Just go. Here and I don't know. We got Ezra. What's up, Ezra? Glad you like this song. We got Isabella. What's going on, Isabella? How you doing today? Thanks for listening to my music. But yeah, that song's got real high energy, real like. That's why I made it the single, because it's kind of got a very accessible, digestible form, and it's about the zodiac, which, you know, I was just listening to the zodiac and stories of like the Chinese zodiac, where it's a race and there's all these animals. I thought that was a really cool story. And it kind of tied into the birth of Phanes, because a lot of the sculptures of Phanes that I see had like zodiac around him, so they're all related, you know, in some way. So I'm like, oh, well, let's put the magical animal after that. So it's kind of some like, yeah, the hook is like, I got the power of the zodiac. Every planet hid it in my sack. One day I know I'll give it back. So it's just kind of like, imagine if you had all these powers of these animals and you were keeping them to yourself, or there's someone keeping to himself, or someone that knows that knowledge, right? That's kind of what the theme of this album is, like mysterious hidden knowledge, you know, through different things. But what's up, Elliot Sprinks? Spectacular album. Yeah, the Spectacular is fucking fantastic. And I think we had David Zimmerman in the Facebook chat, and he's the artist who did that artwork. Fucking amazing. This artwork for one half was done by another amazing artist, Danny Duffy, here in Milwaukee. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, Kudrit and Elliot and Steven. Thanks for the hype. Thanks for the €5 super chat on YouTube. Appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube, like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And same with Facebook. If you don't follow, if you're join the group, if this is on a group, or join the page. I don't know. Just join it up, or go to color.com and just download and listen to music for free. That's the easiest way. All right. Well, let's see.
Yeah. Woo. Loving it.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about that, John?
I'm feeling great, and I especially like that last song a lot. Makes me want to go out dancing this week. Just bust a move. Yeah. We're gonna do that.
It's such a simple song. It's just C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C C
Yeah,
F F F F G G G G C C C C.
It's those simple songs though that just really you can do so much with sometimes.
Yeah, it's all about the movement. You can do all this.
Yep.
You know, you have these arpeggios. You have all the. That's what I mean about it being more digestible. You know, it's
Yeah,
like.
you create a lot of nice space in that song too, where the
Yeah,
movement's really great.
I like that too. The movement in that song, like it just when you think it's moving somewhere, you're like, what's about to happen? And then, bah, you know, it comes at you, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, but that's it. But it's satisfying. It's a journey. It's a magical journey. There are wiggles in the air, right? Isabella's happy. I'm glad Isabella's happy. Listen to your father. Be happy. Listen to the music. Dance around, like John said. All right, let's.
What music do you draw inspiration from? Elliot wants to know.
A lot of different music. Like this album is, like that last song was much more like, if you've heard like my earliest albums, Adolescence, like 2006 was just on my website. But a lot of my music back then were like that, just really fast electric music. So like that song was probably inspired by this band called Anima, ! They were a big inspiration to that song. There's like the kind of bridge section at the end where it's like, every man, woman, and child is an animal. That kind of melody type of thing, or like, and the movement of the orchestration was inspired a lot by Anima, and they have an album. I think it's from South Africa or California or something. They're not as well known, but they're like the one album they made called Anima, self-titled. It was just amazing. But of course, Daft Punk was hugely inspirational. A lot of like that song, Fatboy Slim. There's a lot of Fatboy Slim in that song, I feel like. But then there's the reggae vibe. So it's also like, you know, so
Yeah,
it's
the
like
song's all over the map.
yeah, it's got like a samba beat, but like a housey kick, and then like
the air horn is just like it ties everything together. It's like that's the transitional part is the
Yeah.
air horn, and it's so unexpected and really cool, and just brings the whole vibe together, I think.
yeah, because it was like that's where the reggae vibe comes from. Because like if you heard at the beginning of a reggae song where it's like so that song is kind of like that, but with the synth arpeggio where it's like so it's emphasis on those notes or whatever. But anyway,
You want to keep
Jake- well, Jake says, what your reasoning behind releasing everything for free? Open up a can of worms there, Jake. They open up a can of worms. I
we
mean,
talk about that for a while, I bet.
yeah, I think Jake, you might know a little bit, but oh yeah, Steven says culture. That's right, free the culture. But that essentially, like, I don't think about it as giving the music for free. I think about the music being free. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just releasing free music. It's like free. The music has freedom. You know what I mean? To be itself, to be used and shared and stuff. And so that's where the whole idea of free things come from it. But I do want to open source it too. It's not uploaded yet. It takes like a week to 2 weeks of. I got to export all the stems and the instrumentals. And I think someone, if they're listening, I think someone bought the digital discography this morning, but it doesn't have the last 2 albums on it. I haven't updated in a while, so sorry about that. But anyway, let's move to the next song, which is the Two Trees of Valinor. Let's slow it down a little bit.
Deep in the forest of a distant memory grew 2 tall trees.
Hold on, start over.
One silver, one gold.
Unless I didn't hear it, but yeah, let's just start from the beginning.
Start from the beginning?
Yes. I didn't hear the beginning.
Deep in the forest of a distant memory grew 2 tall trees, one silver, one gold. At the end of a river was the tree made of silver. It shimmered at dawn with the light of the moon. Ignited in fire was the tree made of gold, burned brightest to dusk with the light of the sun, with the light of the sun. Blossoms of cherry, silver in bloom, leaves like a beast with the golden hue. Deep in the forest, down in the darkest depths of our life, it's our memory. It's all the stories left behind. Deep in the forest of our distant memory, the dark shrouded mist came rumbling through. In a deafening silence, it came with the wind, a black spider of old, hungry for life. The fire was snuffed and the trees were devoured. The forest of memory turned into ashes. It turned into ashes. Blossoms of cherry, silver in bloom, leaves like a beech tree with the golden hue.
Nice. Yeah, Jake at YouTube is talking about how that's Lord of the Rings reference. That's what this song is all about. The Two Trees of Valinor. Also, shout out to Will Hansen for the pedal steel on that. And I don't think I mentioned, but the Birth of Phanis, there's Zach Hubert on drums, and it was mixed by Mike Noyce. Same with Magical Animal, was mixed by Mike Noyce. And this song, The Two Trees of Eleanor, is from the Silmarillion. You're right, Jake. It's about the Two Trees of Valinor, which is this beautiful story of, again, duality. You know, it's like the kind of the vibes of this album. It's exploring the paradox of duality, and it was just a beautiful mythology of these two trees that, like, one was tied to the light from the moon, and one was tied to the light from the sun. And then I kind of, you know, just drawing inspiration, like, from, like, the climax of the song. It talks about deep in the forest, down in the darkest depths of our mind. It's a memory. It's all the stories left behind. So it's like, that's what Tolkien, I think, was all about. He's like kind of bringing to, he was a linguist. He just studied all these languages primarily. So he made languages and then built stories off these languages. So he like was fluent in dozens of languages and he said, and this is crazy, he said that he dreamed in languages, new languages, just like a musician would hear melodies. He would hear languages, and he was convinced that he was tapping into the fairy, which is like the collective unconscious, some people call it, like the stories and the myths and all of those like wild archetypes and stuff that he created with orcs and goblins and which are he didn't invent a lot of those types of characters. They're in the collective memory of everybody, and so that's what he believed, that Elvish and these languages were actually him hearing ancient languages, in being inspired by these things. So it's a little homage to Tolkien and a little talk about those duality and talk about the inspiration of stories themselves. The Lord of the Rings is one of the best meta narratives of the 20th century. It's like the whole thing's a story, but it's also a story within a story. And I think there's something about that shit that's fucking dope. I think. Glad Isabella likes that song. I'm glad to hear it, Isabella. Let's see, Blaze the Vark. What's up, Blaze the Vark? Any favorite rock or metal bands? Yeah, definitely. I think growing up, the rock bands that were huge for me is the White Stripes, the Black Keys, Wolf Mother, like that garage rock vibe, like really just fuzzy blues rock, garage. There's a lot of other ones that I can think of too. Let's see. I think the first band though that I really liked was when I was really little, and this is, somehow it's embarrassing in the culture, but it is what it is. Linkin Park and Nickelback is what I listened to in grade school for a brief moment, until I discovered the White Stripes in 8th grade. And I think that was when my prefrontal cortex was starting to develop.
And you found real rock music to listen to.
Exactly. Linkin Park was pretty hardcore, dude, like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a phase, the Linkin Park phase.
Yeah, it was definitely a phase, but I connected with a lot of my good friends over Linkin Park. I went on a trip skiing with my buddy Ray Campmeyer. Shouts out to Ray Campmeyer if he's listening or around. But he had the same album. We both had Hybrid Theory, and we both had CD players, and we both took them on a road trip to go skiing, and so we totally bonded over it. And it was like a match made in heaven. We're like, oh my God, you have this album too? It's like, what? So you gotta have a special place, for that. But Nick Vasuli, what's up, man? Digging the new album. I'm glad. Thank you. And Rhino says I'm young at 30. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm starting to get old. My back's starting to go. I'm getting hair in my nose and in my back. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah. Let's keep her moving, maybe, huh? Let's move along.
Let's move it.
What's the next song?
Grinding Stone.
Grinding Stone. Oh yeah. John was there for this song. John is the engineer for this. Actually, dude, go scroll down and press the no for free. No, download it for free. That button, the light green. Yeah, that one. And then should be able to, if you click on, keep scrolling down and then click on the eye, like the information of it. It'll take a second, I think, unless it's not working.
It's thinking.
Yeah,
doing
it's
some
great
thinking.
programming.
Oh,
There we
there it
go.
goes.
So if we go, we should be able to see the notes
Oh yeah,
and the lyrics. I think
Yeah.
that might be nice.
that's the lyrics. Okay, cool. Get it going.
It's all downhill from 30. Damn, dude. For pain. All right, I'll get ready. All right, we'll address those. We'll address the Nickelback comments after this song. All right, this song is Grinding Stone.
Why you chose me? Why you hold me so tight? Why you need me there by your side? All your struggle, all your pain, I understand what's aching you. If I can, I will try to make all your trouble disappear. But if I do, then I'll soon be dead. For all the trouble for me would reappear. So if you fall for me, if you cry for me someday, I won't pity you. For my heart is a grinding stone, grinding stone, grinding So I'm here to tell you, you can cry alone, as I have forewarned you of that day. And then you'll know why you chose
That's the high one.
me, and why you needed me there by your side. It wasn't just me speaking softly. We both know we couldn't hear a thing. So if you fall for me, if you cry for me someday, I won't blame you. For my heart is a grinding stone, grinding stone, grinding
Yep, that's that song. That's the grinding stone. I like that song. I think that, like, of all the songs that I mixed on there, I think that one turned out really nicely. For what that was, it was a challenge. That song was a challenge, but it worked out well, thanks to some good engineering by John Griffin Jr. Right? There's credits on that page, right? Or no, did I not add them yet?
I don't think there was, but that's okay.
Damn it.
It's fine.
It's on the CD and vinyl though.
Sure is.
You saw it.
I sure did.
It'll be there one step at a time. But sweet. Yeah, that's Grinding Stone. So that song is really fun to play and perform live with the band, and which if you guys haven't gotten your tickets already, just last time I checked. Whoa.
Train coming.
Yeah, even the train.
Train coming.
Train, better get your tickets. The train's coming. But there's plenty of live stream tickets. I think we might be moving it to be free. I think the live stream is going to be free on May 1st. But last time I checked, there was only 10 tickets in person to see that. So we got the full band with 3-part harmonies coming coming at you. Let's see if there's still. Let's see how many tickets are left. But if you're in Milwaukee or in the Milwaukee area on May 1st, we got Classic. Shouts out to Classic. I saw that he commented earlier. I don't know if he's still around. Damn, actually, No Studios' website has been been having trouble today. So maybe not. But regardless, that's on Saturday, and that's a fun song to play with the band. So that the Grinding Stone comes from. At first, I was good. I called the song like, "For my heart is my heart is." What is it? Like it's basically like I have a heart of stone. I was saying like I have a heart of stone, but I changed it to grinding stone because I tried to figure out where the hell did the phrase, heart of stone come from. And so then I looked it up, and of course, like most of Western phrases and shit, like half of it came from the Bible. So I found that there's a Bible saying where they were talking about some guy who had a chest of stone, and then there was all these translations about how it's a lower millstone, and then one of the translations was a grinding stone, and I was like, well, that's kind of an interesting image. Instead of just a heart of stone being like, I got this heart of stone and I can't feel anything, but a grinding stone, that's like almost aggressive, That's almost like, and it actually can be useful too. A grinding stone can be useful. You can grind shit with it. You can actually, for sharpening knives or for milling or creating flour and stuff. Like there's a lot of useful things. Carving things. So like if someone has a heart of stone and you have a grinding stone as a heart, you actually might be able to polish up there.
Yeah, you gotta smooth them out.
Yeah, exactly. Smooth out. So that's what I figured. Like that's what the whole song is kind of about. Like not just having a heart of stone, but having it worse where you're almost. It could be but it could be dangerous too, right? You could hurt people with a grinding stone potentially. I mean, I'm sure you can. I'm sure someone listening now has had a terrible experience with a grinding stone. All right, let's see. But yeah, Nick says a classic fade out. Exactly. That's what I wanted for this song. Just do the fade out. I saw an article written about how we perceive fade outs as songs, making songs longer. So people would fade out, and it would be a short song that fades out, and because there's all these tests that people done, like where they press a button where they think the end of the song is, and fade outs actually give you like a second or two more of like where you think the song's done, which is interesting, right? So I was like, I need to fade out something and see if it works, and I think it is. I think it does.
Sure does.
Yeah, a lot of people saying I like that song. I like that song too. Rhino says, love getting into that in the songs, like how deep you get with the underlying meaning of the lyrics. Yeah, I mean, man, like that's where it all comes from. You do it for 15 years, and it's like boring if you just do the same old. Some of the songs are just like, like last year, you write some songs like they come from personal experience that are easy to write. Like last year, the song "Falling" was just like. Chorus was just like falling, 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 falling. So it's like simple, like get into the deeper things with it. But this year I had a lot of time with COVID and shit, to do it. I had a lot of time to mess around with meaning. And I just read a lot and went, like everyone was in fucking quarantine. So, all right, that's the grinding stone. We're getting pretty far in there, huh? We're about to be number 6. Let's see. What's the next one? We got Unum Sanctum. Unum Sanctum. Unum Sanctum means one holy in Latin. It's an allusion to one of the first papal bulls of the Catholic Church, saying salvation is only through the Catholic Church, the one holy. There's nothing else but the one holy. So I used that and kind of juxtapose that over the American authoritarian state. And let's just say what it is. That's what it is. We got an authoritarian state in a lot of ways, and so in a lot of it's better than some places. Happy to be able to make these music. That would be terrible if we couldn't make music. But damn, man, this song is special. This Unum Sanctum song is very special because I recorded these field recordings at George Floyd protests, and then there's recordings from Trump rallies and stuff too. So it's like kind of the juxtaposed of the two, and I think it's important for everyone to understand. I think the tribalism, and that's what this song is really about. It's not. I was gonna like talk about politics and stuff, and I was like, oh, let me make a political song. I want to like really get to the heart of the issue of like what this fucking shit is. You know, what I'm feeling, and what is everyone feeling? What's happening? Why is there all this like insurrection and burning down police stations and shit? Like, what's going on? And I think to me, it was despair. And that's what this song's about. The song is about seeing the despair and what that does, and it separates people. It makes them hate each other. It makes them, you know, like when you're just trying to, if you don't have your basic needs met, then despair comes in, and it's a disease. And so that's what I talk about in the song, is despair. But see ya, Ezra. Thanks for the happy birthday wishes. Hope you have a good day, man. All right, let's listen to Unum Sanctum.
Like a roaring lion or a charging bear, disease has spread among us. It's the disease of despair. It's despair that's killing us, feasting into the social fabric's neck, rupturing the social bonds until there's nothing fucking left. Spreading the disease with each bite. It's despair. What a fright. Unum sanctum to the priest of Baal, creeping in the night. Despair. It's despair. It's despair that you care for in the cold of the night. It's despair. It's despair. It's despair that you care for like a flame from a light. It's despair. It's despair. It's despair that you care for in the cold of the night. The hopelessness of brokenness is how we'll remain. We'll walk around feeling free, but we are slaves without chains. And our salvation as a nation is inflicted from addiction to the riches of dereliction. Such pains have stricken. Will you listen? Do you care? Do you feel it? Despair, despair. We should care for in the cold of the night. It's despair. It's despair. It's despair. We should care for like a flame from a light. Themselves masters, pressing on your neck, asking you to die faster, and all the while tells you to thank him. Through the war shock, it's like mumps for the soul. It's from the cold rot, stoking while the cold's hot. Fire from the lightning, stories from the night things. In the depths is frightening. Once blinded by our self-delusion, we'll come to see our own conclusion. We'll see what's right and fair from the joys within the terror. Then you and me will fight despair.
Yeah, so that's grinding, that's Unum Sanctum. Unum Sanctum. Yeah, that's a heavy song, but it's you know, I the middle part, you know, I tried to expand a little bit more. You hear that sample? There's a sample of a United States Army, I feel like from the 50s or 40s or something, singing the Battle Hymn of the Old Republic. And there's that chorus part where it goes, "Let us die to make them free." So it's this part in the Battle Hymn of the Old Republic where it's like they're acknowledging the fact that they might be going into their own inevitable death to fight for freedom. You know what I mean? And I thought that was like that really tied it together. Like,
Yeah. I like how the bridge is basically like the protests. And
Right.
It's a great breakdown for that.
yeah, I think, yeah, and that's the thing. It's about like, okay, well, what do we do? And that song is more about just like feeling the despair and just being, and like kind of expressing that and trying to understand that. But at the end, I try to at least like give some sort of hope for the future, or like what it can be. And I think it just like the whole song is just like become aware of what the hell is going on. At least we could at least feel this and know that it exists and know that this is happening in our country, in America, and across the world. There's this unnecessary despair and disparities. But it's a more underlying philosophical thing in there, because it says, when we find joys within the terror, then you and me can fight despair. And so it's like, even if shit's fucked, you still have to find joy. And that's one of the only way, like you have to be able to do that. And if you can't, then you might not be able to fight it. You know what I mean? If there's no joy. And so, and that's the challenge. That's really the challenge that we all have to face, is that. So, well, it's a heavier song, but it's what happened this last year. I went to those protests just, to see what was going on, and that's what I felt. Everyone was angry. They were pissed off. They were they were afraid. They were and I think they're on both, on all across the aisle. Everyone is not upset. Everyone's fucking upset. So. Yeah, that's that one. Jake says a slight peaking and the mic works so well. Yeah, I tried to balance that for when it says despair. When it hits the high, when it hits those notes, that it almost like hurts. Almost, you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, the threshold of feeling.
Right here, it's just like, like I don't, I don't want to be like. I don't know. It was heavier at some points, and I turned it back. I'm learning more about how using these tape saturation plugins that really can distort it in cool ways, but it can distort it in not so cool ways and take away a lot of the fidelity with some of these things. So trying to learn that balance. Last year I was messing with that too, with a song called "A Trying Shame," which has the frickin', the whole voice is distorted. But anyway, thanks to Benjamin Cramp for donating for the album. You can go to color.com and pay what you want. It's free, but I'll take $5, $10, whatever you got, $100, $1 million. Color.com, you can go do that. But of course, it's free. That's the whole idea, is to give it all for free. I already had the pre-order. I'm sure a lot of you already are going to be expecting your stuff pretty soon. Actually, I got my CDs coming tomorrow, the whole pack of them. The vinyl is on its way. It's being made right now. I have the deposit. It's being it's happening. That'll be a bit later though. It'll still take a couple months. But the T-shirts and the CDs and the stickers are going to be coming out within the next couple weeks. But yeah, Nick Vasuli says it's a heavy year. Art dictates life sometimes. Or yeah, the other way around. It's both. Art is the expression of what we can do, and that's the kind of the thing about fighting it. It's like, well, I was listening back to one of my songs, "On the Streets of Old Milwaukee," which is another like kind of more, not political, but it's just my experience living at Marquette, and just seeing like rich people in these fancy things that are just isolated in this bubble with a private security force. And then just abject poverty, all everywhere. And then I walked down the street, and I remember seeing these homeless people sleeping literally on the campus of the courthouse. You know what I mean? I just remember seeing that and being like, how is that okay? That's like poetic injustice. You know what I mean? And dude, John, I kid you not. One time I was walking home from a buddy's house by the library, public library, and walking back into the Marquette's campus, and there was just a fire in the courthouse, like just like hours before that. And so WISN and like TMJ4 and all the local news came to like cover the fire, and they go, and I'm watching them. They come, they shoo the homeless people out of their shots. They go and they like shoo them away. You know what I mean? And I'm just like watching this, and I'm just like, my jaw just opens, like, oh my God, like that. This is the world we live in. You know what I mean?
Yep. Same thing happened when the Democratic Party was going to come here last year. They had all those people living underneath the bridge. They're like, oh, we can't have that. Got to move these people somewhere else. Yeah.
They do that with like World Cups and like and Olympics and stuff in different countries. They just move people around. A small donation of $1 million. But Kudrid, yeah, Nina Simone. Nina Simone is OG. She's the artist's duty to represent their time. I think that's true. That's why I go deep with these songs, because it's like, it's my, I don't know, I feel like it's my responsibility to at least try to dig deep inside me and find the things that resonate with me. And then if it resonates with me, that's really all that matters to me. And like, if you guys like it, great. If you don't, maybe there's next year. Some songs resonate with people more than others, and it's exciting and interesting to me to how people resonate with certain things. That's probably the most interesting part about releasing an album with different types of music all the time, because some people don't like, for example, like my dad, he grew up. He doesn't like electronic music. Like Pink Floyd is as electronic as it can get. He doesn't even like Kraftwerk or anything, you know. It's just like, he's from a different era, and he just doesn't really grow up with that. I'm sure he doesn't like hate a lot of this stuff, but you know what I mean? Like people just have different tastes. It's diabolical, Kudrit. That's right. All right, well, we got 2 more songs, right? 2 more songs.
2 more.
Let's get through them, guys. Let's get through them. Let Do, yeah, here we go. Here's another diabolical song. Let do means laissez-faire in English.
Listen to the television, what it's telling you. Listen to your teacher, don't try to think it through. Remember this, or you'll end up in the gutter. It ain't your business to provide for another. The others are fine. Your brother and your sister and your mother are only worth money. Are only worth money. Are only worth money. Now pay what's due. Pay what's due. Pay what's due. Let do. Let do. Never strive to thrive unless it's more for less. Nice guys finish laughing guest.
that song was mixed by Mike Noyce. Also, Unum Sanctum, I forgot to mention. We had John Griffin on engineering, we had Zach Hubert on drums, we had John Jolka on bass, and Patrick Mullen on the guitar with the killer solo. Yeah, so Let Do. That's a pretty on-the-nose song, I think. Literally, the chorus is, they're only worth money. And I feel like, yeah, Kuja says, this is the song they might use for a brainwash propaganda tutorial. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of actually what I was intending to do. I was a little uneasy about doing it, to be honest. I was like, is this okay to talk from this perspective? But I feel like part of why I did choose to do it was because I was reading Carl Jung about this concept of shadow work, and I think like by speaking this into existence and by like taking that perspective, you can see you expose it, right? You like put it to light, I become aware of it, I become aware of that part of me, those feelings of desiring, like those things, like that song is really, like, it's really pretty nasty. It's like your mother, like the others are fine, your mother and your sister and your brother, they're all the other, and they're only worth money, you know, and then and collect your dues, like people are just, you know, they're worth money and you want to collect from what you're due. And that's like the let do. And and the second one is the frickin', they say, what does it say? It's like, oh, if people are going to die, then place your bet, right? Just like, like, you might as well bet, if people are going to die all over, you might as well bet on them, right? And then you even make more money. So I don't know, it's kind of a little shadow work for me to like learn from that perspective. And yeah, it's from that perspective. I don't agree with that perspective per se. You know, it's like, of course, it's pretty brutal. I think there was someone I quoted, I forget what his name is. It's a British capitalist from some time. Milton was, I forget. Damn, I wrote it down, but I forget. It was someone. He came up with that. That was an allusion to this guy. I have to look at my notes, but he said, "It is not the business of a man to provide for another man." Like that was the kind of the whole mentality of just like only the individual. And of course, people lose connection with, you know, other people, and when you do that and you just put values, you value people by their money or by their value of, you know, putting a monetary value on people, isn't necessarily like, I mean, there's useful parts of like putting that into play, but ultimately, I think people aren't bananas or commodities. You know what I mean? They're people with human rights. But yeah. All right. I think we're cruising along here. We're almost at the end. And this song, I think I heard some good feedback from right away from people. This song is the epic final, tying all those kind of threads back together. Lucifer the Lightbearer. This is recorded here at the same space I'm at right now by John Griffin Jr. was an engineer, and then Zach Hubert drums, John Jolka on bass, and Patrick Mullen on the guitar, and Sam Neufeld on the trumpet. So this has got some trumpet surprises. So let's listen to Lucifer the Lightbearer. This is a fun song to play with the band too.
Here I come and here I go, off along the dusty road to hell. To hell, to hell. So join my table, pour more wine. What's mine is yours, but what's yours is certainly mine. It's mine, oh mine. All your land and all your time, and your precious little child is mine. to everything you're hiding in your life. What do you say? I'll bring the day, the dawn, the dawn, the dawn has come, and so I'm falling from a new rebellion. If you want meaning in your meaningless life you live, so if you want some words to pray to, may I oblige me? The people call me Lucifer, but you gotta understand I'm a light bear, bringing to your nightmare, so you deem what's right and fair. I'm just a messenger of the fire from the lightning tail. I'm here to show you apocalyptic truth, where I know it's a crying shame, and it's me you'll have to blame. And for chariots fear my name. My wrist and shoot my pistol. Here's a trick to shoot you right between the eyes. I tell no lies. My serpent hiss will tell you this: your nakedness reveals you are a slave. So be brave. Now you know the knowledge of the fruit of good and evil. You have no choice but to drink my wine. Venerate me, where I know it's a crying shame, and it's me you'll have to blame. And for said chariots fear my name.
That's the thing. Whoa. This is the Here Presents studio. This is where this is where I recorded the vocals and the guitars and all those things. Not in this particular section here, per se, but over there. And on Friday, we're having a special backers only party here. So if you backed one half, you're going to see a live stream with me. I'll be performing solo on Friday, the night before the May 1st show, which is the big band show at No Studios. And I just checked, and now there's only 6 tickets left for the No Studios show. So if you're in Milwaukee and you're going to get it, you better get it now, because there's literally only 6 tickets left. Blaze the Vark, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, that song is like the final, like that was the last song that I worked on the album. Like I had a lot of the other stuff done, and that one just was on the back. It was just at the end of it all. It was like always at the end for every process. The tracking, it was last. Mixing, it was last. Like all doing the final touches, it was always last. So it's like it was the struggle at the end of it all. And you know, there's probably, like, I listened to it and there's still some mixing things that I probably would improve. But yeah, that trumpet, Sam Neufeld nailed it. He did that remotely. So I just sent him the parts and I was just like, ah. Actually, I wrote it with my voice. I went, ah, ah, you know, a little better than that. But I sent it to him and then recorded like a little piano part, and he just played over it. And then he did that solo by himself. I pieced it together, but he's got a great tone, and he messed around with like a little harmony, like a mute too, or plunger or something. I don't know, but that's that's the album, man. That's what it is. And so, I don't know. It's nice to have this thing on isn't this sweet to have this phone just like where you can just move around? Like this is literally just, this camera is just a phone, my old Pixel.
Super fun.
It's fun, right? And we could walk around wherever there's Wi-Fi.
Having a blast.
But yeah, thanks everybody for listening. And thanks everybody who's subscribed or who on Twitch or on YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is. You can go to color.com and donate there too if you want. Pay what you can for the album. It's been a labor. It's been a labor of a year. No tour this year too. It's unfortunate. But I will be, have this show in May. We got this one show, and then there's some things coming in August. Hoping to put some things together for the fall and the winter. But next year is 100% at the seams. I mean, I can't say it's 100% because COVID still is like, there's still a little bit up in the air. But it's looking like the industry is coming back. And that's what matters. Just when the industry comes back, then I can tour. And so...
Widespread Panic is coming to Milwaukee
Yeah.
in October.
Mark Ribier is coming too. I need to get my ticket.
So,
Like,
that's a sign right there.
yeah, things are... Summerfest is open. Like, things are going. But, yeah, thanks everybody. Jake and Kudrit and Blaze the Bark. Steven's all here still. Got people on Melissa and Grace on Facebook. Vince, if you're still around. Melissa, thanks again. Melissa is the first I think since Spectacular, she's been on it, first associate producer every year, and super supportive. And we got some fun. I think we're going to be playing with Wise Jennings in August. I can't remember the date, but it'll be announced. We got a little festival in West Bend that we're playing, I believe. A little daytime festival. But yeah, so anyone can go to color.com. That's the end. That's the end of the album, and we'll be listening to it again. Backers, again, Friday. Backers, if you check your email, if you haven't, I'll be sending out a live stream just for you guys on Friday. I'll send that out the day before with a password or the day of, early in the morning. John will be here, and I'll play a solo set, and we're gonna have a few people here in house. I invited the backers who could make it to come, and I think we're gonna have like a dozen people, maybe somewhere around there, maybe less. I'm not sure. There's some people that are thinking about coming from other places that may not end up coming. But regardless, Saturday, if you're not a backer, Saturday, I believe the tickets are going to be live. The live stream tickets are going to be free. There's only 6 tickets in person left. But the live stream, it's very confusing. I'm working with Sessions Live, and we're changing things on the fly. Haven't been getting as much sales as we'd like. So if you're around on Saturday and you want to see the full band, I got 3-part harmonies. We've been practicing almost every day now. I feel like I've been rehearsing many times. But
Is this song a conclusion to the album?
yeah, Lucifer is the conclusion. It's Lucifer is another thing that I dove into. I said John Milton earlier with Paradise Lost. Like, I was looking up what is the mythology of Lucifer? Where did this come from? There's a little bit of recently I in college I started reading the Nag Hammadi texts in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are like the old Gnostic Gospels and early Jewish mystic texts that are like the Gospel of Judas, the Gospel of Mary, the infancy Gospels of Thomas and Philip and stuff, and then the books of Enoch, which are these. I mean, these are paramount. Like I said earlier about how everything goes back to the Bible. These were things that were made in the Bible that were just left out for purposely, or who knows, because this is a sect of Christianity, early Christianity, or Gnostics, and they believed in experiential salvation. So like I mentioned, Unum Sanctum earlier is the one holy of the salvation through the church. Got to be baptized and get into the church, and that's how you get salvation, according to the Catholic Church. But before the Catholic Church, there were a lot of different types of Christians, and the Gnostics. It's just very interesting to me. I grew up in a Catholic household, but it's interesting to me because this is like lost knowledge shit. It's like lost text, lost source text of an early Christian, and it's essentially somewhere in between Neoplatonism, Greek like Neoplatonism, which is a Jewish, ancient Jewish mysticism. So it's a very mystic, like I said, experiential salvation, which means you you will reach salvation by experiencing life yourself, and that we are made in the image. There's a lot of interesting things, like the Gospel of Judas is crazy because he ends up being the hero, which is just a really cool storytelling. Like, what? He ends up being the hero? Like, that's crazy. Like, after centuries. So that was where that line, and for centuries fear my name, I kind of came inspired from Judas, even though it's not about Lucifer. But Lucifer is like, the more you try to research the archetype of Lucifer and what it is, there's so many different interpretations of it over the time, over history. People think Lucifer just means devil, or they mean, but then you look at Paradise Lost, and there's this whole mythology behind him, and he's a really interesting character that I think people I don't like that idea of just like, oh, it's evil, bad, don't think about it, it's just the bad thing. Where it's like, no, that's not really what it was. Like, it's an important descent. Like, I think there's the story of Lucifer basically questioning God. God had like the voice of a child, and he's like, I ain't gonna listen to a freaking child. We got to make sure this shit's like fucking running tight. And so he's like, all right, I'll do it. And then as soon as he did that, then God like became this crazy thing, and then there was this battle and anything. So it's a pretty cool story. And so I took little bits of different parts of the stories of Lucifer. I talk about the dawn and the rebellion. The dawn is like, that's I think one interpretation of Lucifer is the morning star in Greece. Like this, this is how drastic these figures can become, how different they can become over time. Like, people just see, like, Lucifer in Hebrew literally means the light bearer. That's why the song is called the light bearer, or the light bringer. So it's like it's the morning star, like kind of like Venus is the morning star. It could be just that, or there's this Paradise Lost, John Milton, like Jewish, historical thing. But anyway, yeah, it's the pinnacle of it's the climax of the album. It's the last huzzah. Kudra says Lucy is misunderstood, sometimes deliberately. I agree. But anyway, I think that about wraps it up. Thanks everybody for listening. I wonder if we could, I appreciate everybody that's listened so far, and everybody give a big special thanks to John for helping me out with the stream, and he's going to be helping me out on Friday. Whoever's left here, just give him a good clap. It's tough work, but all right, yeah. If you guys can tune in on Friday or Saturday, we'll do it. Otherwise, won't be performing for a little bit. I've got some special things I'm working on, dealing with music freedom, and I'm very excited about that stuff. Well, I got the opportunity to do it here, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Steven, Kudrit, Jake, Greg, all the folks. It's another year, another album, and I appreciate everybody who comes along with me on this journey. And we're only halfway there, baby. I think when I get to 75 I'll become 60 something, and that's when I'll be 75% music. So it's in a while. So we'll see if we can get there. 50 is good enough so far. But I do intend to be releasing an album every year for the foreseeable future, until anything else. But all right, we got some claps for John. Great. All right, guys. And with that, I think we'll just end it there. Should be a button there, John, that says end stream. He's ready for it. Wait, shit, has it been recording?
It's been recording.
There's a button that says record? That's on?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Hell yeah. All right, guys. We'll rebroadcast this or something some other time.